When it was discovered that there were no safety reasons to have outside contractor Xerox to install cameras as a safety measure, Suffolk citizens have become outraged. Our county has been in financial freefall, and confiscating your funds to make up the county's shortfall in revenues is not what we want to hear as a solution to their problem. The red light cameras are a crime, says an advocate for termination of the program. Traffic tickets are a way to recoup the county's misspending. Ladies and gentlemen, you are paying for their mismanagement of your tax dollars twice, and we must band together and put this program down. I have with me on our program entitled Red Light Cameras, Suffolk County's Lament. Hector Gavilla is a longtime advocate, knows a lot about this, and I've talked to him a few times, and we've done a few programs together. Okay, so just for the sake of the audience not seeing any of these programs we've done before, give them a 2 or 3 minute highlight of history, and then we'll go right into what's happening now.
Okay, very good. The red light camera program in Suffolk County was implemented approximately 2010 for the purpose of generating revenue for Suffolk County. And the program itself is run entirely by the Xerox Corporation, and the money is sent to them, and instead of a police officer giving out the tickets, what happens is you have an individual that looks behind the camera and is giving tickets out to people for making primarily right on reds, because the program itself would not be profitable if all they did was give tickets for people that were running the red lights straight through. The locations also, which we found,
so that's a tool for them to get more money, just to have that red light, turning red light, rather than through the red light, because not that many people are doing it, right?
Right, exactly.
Wouldn't be profitable enough.
Exactly, and the locations where they place it too are very commonly in front of supermarkets where people go shopping, or shopping malls where people have to buy clothing and buy things. So it's certainly a money grab. And we're dedicated to getting this program removed and terminated for good.
Good luck. I mean, did you have a chance to vote on this program? I know I didn't.
No, nobody had a chance to vote on it. It was voted by the Suffolk County Legislature. And, not surprisingly, none of our legislators told any of their constituents that the cameras were going up. They're put up by surprise. And also what we found through our research is that when the cameras are no longer profitable, they'll remove it from certain locations and then move them to new locations without announcing it to anybody, just to try to entrap people, because this is a program, in my opinion, that's an entrapment.
Yeah, you could say that it's an opinion, but based on all the information I've seen, it looks like a planned effort to target as many people doing things that were relatively safe at one time and now seem to be enforceable.
Well, it's interesting you bring up the safety issue, because every year Suffolk County generates a report on this program, and what's really disturbing is that ironically the red light cameras have increased accidents. For example, in the most recent red light camera report, there's been an increase in the rear end collisions at all the red light camera locations by 42% after they installed the cameras at the same location. So prior to, in some instances, like for example in Comac, there were 2 locations where it increased by 100%, where there were no accidents prior to putting the cameras there. But then after that, there were more accidents, more rear end in particular, and that's because people are stopping short at the yellow lights, and the people behind them are banging into them. Now you could always say, well, it's the fault of the driver that's behind them. They should know and they should leave enough space. But the facts are the facts. The data's there. On our website, redlightscam.com, we print out all the reports. We also have a copy of the contract as well for anyone to download. And the data's there. It just shows that there has been increases in accidents. Suffolk County also has admitted that they know that this program has increased rear-end collisions, but they don't care, and they've actually said that they're okay with it because, in their opinion, rear-end collisions don't send people to the morgue, and that's exact quotes from an official from Suffolk County who was interviewed by News 12 this year.
But it doesn't really say that there's a reason for stopping or not stopping a vehicle. It doesn't say that, well, that because it's increased, it doesn't change anything. It's not changing anything. The information, the factual information you just gave is not really changing. They're still going to run their contract, right? They have a time limit to the end of their contract.
The current contract, it gets renewed every 5 years. So in 2012, the legislature voted to renew it for another 5 years. So I believe that it ends at 2019. However,
12 and 5 is 7. It's 17 if it started in 12.
Well, it started in 2010. And then they voted to renew it
before
another
the end
5
of its
years,
term.
right? Right.
Okay.
Like if you're going to vote to
it.
renew it, you'll vote to renew it before the actual expiration date. And they also voted to expand the number of intersections. So right now, as we speak, it's 100 intersections that have cameras, and at each intersection, there's about 3 cameras on average. And the program generates over $36 million a year in revenue.
It's amazing. You know, I personally had the budget now since 2011 when I got a whole bunch of tickets in one particular location where I had made a safe turn day in and day out, going to work every single day. And suddenly there was 9 tickets or 11 tickets stating that I made a right on red, that I was moving the vehicle. I didn't come to a full stop.
Right.
That's bogus.
Well, it is bogus because the other thing that we've noticed as well in our analysis is that the majority of tickets are for right turns on red, and also when there's no dangerous situation, when nobody's around, and as I mentioned earlier, it could be placed in front of a shopping center, with no history of accidents, no history of dangerous accidents or fatal accidents, per se. And so we have to question the program and wonder why did they choose certain locations and not other locations that do have a history of fatal accidents. And it's not that hard to find the reason. On our website at redlightscam.com, we do have a copy of the full contract, and in there they specifically state that they choose the locations based on a minimum criteria of 25 tickets per day. What they do is Xerox is allowed to choose the locations, and they set up a temporary camera at a potential location. And if that temporary camera that is set up for the whole day, if it could generate what they refer to in the contract as 25 raw violations, then that would be a qualification, that location would qualify. And that's why we don't necessarily see it at the truly most dangerous intersections, because in reality, our research also showed that in the truly dangerous locations, they've re-engineered those locations to put, for example, no turn on red signs. That's one example. That's a location that, even though there may be a lot of accidents, would be unprofitable for the camera company, because if the car is not allowed to make a run on red, well, guess what? There will not be a lot of tickets that would be generated.
Right.
However, it's more profitable to put it in locations where there are engineering flaws. One engineering flaw, for example, could be that there's a white line that's a few feet away from the corner, and then the cars next to you have another white line where it's ahead of your car. So what happens is you'll stop at the white line.
You mean the
but
potential
car
crosswalk area?
The crosswalk area,
okay.
that the car in front of you is stopped here. You're stopped maybe a few feet behind that car, and you're on the white line, but you can't see the oncoming traffic. So now you pull up. Then the video shows it. The video will not show the first time you stop at the white line, but it will show that you went over the white line, didn't wait enough seconds, and then went and made a right turn on red. And meanwhile, it's very safe. There are no cars around, but they'll issue you a ticket.
Most of my tickets were received between 5 a.m. Traveling salesman, I get up early in the morning, I'm out before the traffic, between 5 and 6 a.m. in the morning at this particular location. I hardly ever had a car in front of me, hardly ever a car to the left. However, the corner that I got most of these tickets on, I don't have good view to the left. So as I'm approaching to make my right turn, I get to stop, but I can't really see far enough, so I have to lean the car out into the intersection, over the white crosswalk area, and into my right turn area.
Exactly.
And now that, for safety reasons, I'm moving the car forward.
Exactly.
And they gave me
Just
3 or 4
view.
tickets just for that one thing alone.
Each time you stop, they have the opportunity to reset your timing. So if you stop and let's say you wait for 10 seconds at the white line, then you inch out a little bit, but you don't wait for 3 seconds at that time. They'll get you on that one, and they will refuse to show the previous stops. And we've had that happen to some people as well. It has to trouble your audience to know that the majority of tickets are for right on reds that are perfectly safe.
You know, they set you up in the interview. The interview I went beforehand is, look at that. They show you the picture of what you did. Look at that. You broke. You see the brake lights on, and you're moving through the intersection. You're stopping. Then you stop, and then you're moving again, and then you're moving again, and you were right. They actually got me from continually moving the vehicle without having a 3-second prolonged stop, which I didn't have.
It's ridiculous. And a police officer would never give most of the tickets that are out there. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to send out the wrong message. If someone intentionally runs a red light, they deserve a ticket. But this program is designed to catch people as they unintentionally run a red light. And there's other issues as well. In many cases, we've seen the yellow lights have been tampered with. They've been changed where the lights have been shortened. That was another thing,
the yellow light, the timing of the lights. You say that you were going to break into that now, I think.
Correct.
That there's a timing issue for the lights. They were supposed to be a certain time, and then some are different, some are short, some are, right?
Let me put it to you this way. I'm 46 years old. In a few days, I'll be 47. I've been driving for a very long time. I've lived in Suffolk County all my life. There is no question that the yellow light timings have been shortened, and we're being punished for not guessing correctly. And as a result, those people who continue to get tickets are now stopping short at the yellow lights and hoping that they don't get rear-ended, and that's why the data doesn't lie, and it shows that there's been increases in rear-end accidents. So they're trying to sell us on the idea that they're saving us from the Tbone accidents, the right angle collisions. But that's nonsense, that's baloney, because what they're really doing is they're creating more accidents, more rear-end collisions. And you want to know something else too? I've been doing a lot of research on this. Most Tbone accidents are not caused by people that are running red lights. They're caused by people making left turns and not judging it correctly. In other words, if you're in an intersection and there's the green light and you're going to make a left turn, if you don't judge it correctly, that left turn becomes a very dangerous decision, and you can get T-boned, where you make that left turn and you don't judge it right, someone will smack right into you. And there are ways to resolve those issues if you really want to prevent T-bone accidents. Several years ago, if you may remember, at Route 347 and Route 111, they have stopped people from being allowed to make left turns there because they re-engineered that entire intersection.
Right, you have to go through a jug
handle turns are the best method to prevent any type of T-bone collisions because it prevents you from making a left turn in a major intersection. Jug handle turns,
but that's hard to put in place what you want.
Well, what I'm trying to say is this. Suffolk County has a history where they did put jug handle turns all along that 347 corridor because I remember as a young person driving, seeing accidents almost daily on that road. When they put the jug handle turns, the accidents went away, and I applauded Suffolk County for doing that. So if there really truly are intersections that are dangerous, then that's the solution. But don't sell us on this nonsense that red light cameras are going to save lives, because they don't. It's people that make bad decisions that cause the terrible fatal accidents. Which is the usual thing.
There's two things I want to talk about that bother me. When you approach an intersection where you're allowed to make a right-hand turn, once the person in front of you, you can tell the person in front of you has had tickets because they won't make the turn. There are a lot of people who will not take advantage of the normal right of safe passage to make a right turn on a red light. Now you've got to worry about the guy in front of you not wanting to do that. So you have people honking in the neighborhood, waking up the kids and stuff like that, to trying to get this driver to move to make that turn. My office manager will not do that. She will not make that turn no matter what. So you won't either.
I won't either. I will not make I refuse to make a right turn.
So the law that was safe, that was put in place to make it safe and expeditiously make the turn to get to where you got to go, is now a moot issue.
Yeah, it's a mood issue, and you know what? I've noticed more and more people also are refusing to make right turns on red. Occasionally, I'll videotape like trucks and cars that I know are in the right turning lane, and they just stop, and they're allowed to make a right, but they are tired of being accused of running through a red light, so they'd rather not. And so we're advising people not to do that either. Now, there is some hope.
That's crazy.
There is some hope because, you know, just this month, the city of Rochester, New York, just announced that they are terminating their red light camera program as well because they understand that it's a toxic program that victimized all of the residents.
Aren't there other locations other than Rochester? Like, didn't the state of New Jersey, I think, cancel?
New Jersey, yes. It was
killed the
about
entire
2
program?
years ago, I believe, or maybe even last year, where New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, terminated the red light program as well. And there's other cities and states throughout the country, slowly but surely, that are terminating this because they do see this as a money grab, and it is unconstitutional. It's illegal. Because the other aspect of it as well is that if you're being accused by someone who's watching the video from out of state, another state, that's the same thing as me holding a video camera, videotaping it to you, and mailing you a ticket. That's not correct because I'm not trained in law enforcement.
That's one person I understand in Colorado who looks at all this film and makes a decision on whether something's legal or illegal or permissible to place a fine on you as a driver, right?
Well, you know what's interesting? They changed the law in New York State to say that when you get a red light ticket from the camera, from someone videotaping you, it's not considered a moving violation. So it's a civil case, which I totally don't understand that other than the fact that it's a money grab. So one of the things they tell you is, just pay the ticket. You're not getting points on the license, which kind of, if you think about it, is kind of ironic because if you're really trying to say, hey, let's save lives, then why are you saying hey, it's okay to continue running red lights as long as you just pay? You're not going to get points on the license, and there's never your license will never get jeopardized. You'll never lose the license.
There's a whole entire management issue that's different with those things that you can apply as having a witness there or a cop saying that you had a ticket, which is far more serious, for instance, than these red light tickets. So they substandardized the red light ticket just simply by not having a witness there.
Correct.
It almost has this vague nature of it's not so important. You know, it's
right.
It's only an opportunity for them to make money.
Make money, and that's it. Because you know, think about this for a second. If someone's rich enough where they could continue to pay all these red light tickets, they want to replace the police officers with these cameras. So somebody like that will just keep running the red lights and just pay the tickets, and they'll continue to drive. So if they are truly reckless drivers, New York State and Suffolk County are basically saying, we don't care. Just pay us, and we'll let you continue your bad driving behavior.
Okay, I'm going to try and run quick because we only have about 6 or 7 minutes left. There's the fines, and we also want to find out what someone can do when they get a ticket. But let's cover the surcharges. There was a $30 surcharge at some point.
We discovered,
how'd that happen?
Okay, New York State allowed Suffolk County to run the program, and they have certain guidelines. One of the guidelines is that they're only allowed to charge $50. Now, understand that it costs Suffolk County no money to run this program because Xerox absorbs all the costs. They own the equipment.
Wasn't it
it's
originally a
their business.
$30 surcharge, though?
It was a $30 surcharge.
It was. Now it's $50. Is that right?
No. You misunderstood what I
Okay.
said. They gave Suffolk County permission to charge $50 for the tickets,
Right.
but $50 was not enough because they had to split that with the vendor. So what they decided was to add $30. Starting in 2012, they added $30 surcharge, which made it a total of $80.
I see.
Through my research, I found that out on the website,
see.
and now we have a lawsuit against Suffolk County and against Nassau County because that surcharge is illegal, and that is a fact. Now, the officials in Suffolk County will say that's not true, but people that are in the inside know that they illegally added this $30 fee. And it's a money grab because, as I said, admin fee for what?
Yeah.
If you look at the contract, Suffolk County does not pay for anything with this program because they don't own any of the equipment. They allow Xerox to operate this program, and then they split the revenue with them. That's how it works.
I know when you speak in front of the legislature to tell them about this, why don't you ask if it were possible to ever devise any kind of idea that's anything like this that affects so many people and nothing more than just to try to acquire more
Okay.
government money. Why can't you be notified? Why can't I vote on that? Why can't I have a say in this?
Because they need revenue. You have to understand one thing. There's a
So
projected
the nature
deficit.
of unfairness shows up immediately. If they're
course
not
it
going to
does.
tell me it's completely...
Just read the news. Steve Tbone wanted this year to increase that $30 admin fee to $45. So instead of $80, it would have been $95 for the red light camera tickets. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
So
right
it's never
away,
gonna end.
It'll never end. But the good news is they declined that because they don't want people like me to keep going back complaining and saying, aha, you see, it's all about revenue. Now, the other thing too is that there's a lot of people, including myself, who have refused to pay these tickets. And I'm telling you and anybody else who gets these red light tickets,
Yeah, let's talk about
camera tickets, do not pay. I still have a ticket from 2010, one of the original tickets, that I refused to pay. And I did
This
get
is important because the people are going to look at this program. We want to let them know the truth about what is and isn't a reality for them when they get a ticket.
Right, right.
So when you say don't pay the ticket, like you're saying, you haven't paid a ticket since 2010, one of the tickets, right?
Correct.
Okay. What does that mean to them? Because they're going to look at you and say, well, when are you going to jail? Or when are you going to get this fine? When are you going to pay this fine? When are you going to be stopped
Right.
from abusing the law?
Keep in mind that this is not a criminal matter. It's not a moving violation.
That's what they
So
wanna know.
at this moment in time, there is no way through the through the law that they can do anything to my license. They even say on the ticket that there's no points on it. Because keep in mind that New York State has the jurisdiction over your license. Suffolk County has no jurisdiction over our licenses.
So they can't take your license away if you have a red light ticket.
That is correct, unless they do something through legislation at the state level that allows Suffolk County to do that to us. But at this moment in time, the answer is no. They cannot do anything to your license, okay? But that could always change because it's the government. So it'll be very interesting. No, because this is the first time in history that we go through this process where our rights are being stripped away from us. So I refuse, and many people that I know are refusing to pay these tickets. As a matter of fact, it's a real problem for Suffolk County, and that's why they started sending letters like this to me, an amnesty letter. And in the letter, they said that if I don't pay this ticket that I owed from 2010, that I am subject to booting of my vehicle, garnishing my wages, or seizing my bank account, all for a $50 invoice. I don't refer to it as a ticket.
All it is
it's
an invoice. Show them the envelope.
And when I received it in the mail, I thought it was a Christmas card because I got this mail from Maryland. Okay, and I opened it up, and to my surprise, it was this. Now, this is a copy of the original letter. I went to the legislature and I ripped it up, the original, and I told them I'm still not paying this.
A red letter from an attorney in Maryland. He's not even a Suffolk County resident.
This is where it gets interesting. You have a letter that you receive, if the camera wants to show it, where they're posing as Suffolk County, and it's unsigned. So at the bottom it says, sincerely, Paul Margiotta, Executive Director, and it's unsigned. This did not come from him. This did not come from his office. This came from a P.O. box from Baltimore, Maryland. And the individual's name who's here is Shelley Gordon, but he does, I looked it up, he does work for Suffolk County government, and he works under Paul Margiotta. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they kind of throw him under the bus. They put his name there, but he doesn't work in Maryland. He works here in Suffolk County. However, what's happening is, as we all know, this is a business for Xerox, and the first $50 of that $80 ticket, they split with Suffolk County, and the $30 Suffolk County keeps. But it's Xerox that does all the collecting, and they're the ones who give their share, the Suffolk County their share. They mail it to them, or they put it in the bank account.
So try as best as you can to tell the audience what to do when they get a red light ticket at this point, and what you're suggesting and what it means. I know we just kind of went through this in a kind of peripheral way. What would you say to them who you just get a ticket in the mail?
I wish we had more time, because one of the things that we're going to do is next year we have to vote for the new Suffolk County legislature, and you have to find out who your legislator is and see what their position is on this program. And we need to vote for the legislators who are going to terminate the program just like they did in Rochester,
Okay,
New
we
York.
ran the clock out. Thanks very much. I'll have to have you back to finish that up, okay? You've been watching Gray Matters, a program that shines a light on the society we live in, keeping you in touch with current events, political and hot-button issues of the day, bringing you right into the examination room. We measure the path and the distance that got you where you are today. We can all use a dose of perspective, and this is the best place to get it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next week.